Alright folks, welcome back. Another one of our drop games. Now this formation, everybody pay attention to the formation. These are really important. Okay? We actually have tray left over. Okay? Tray left over. Remember the T and the Y of tray speak to the tight end. Okay? So we have our tight end here on the left. Okay? And the T tells him to be tight, the Y tells him here. So tray left, we have the call is to the left, so the Y always goes with the call. Now, we say over. Okay, when we check that tray left and call it over, what we're telling is H and Z to come over. Remember I told you that H and Z in a 3x1, 99% of the time, H and Z are going to go with the call. Being the call would be, in this situation, left. But because we tell them over, then what we're getting is H and Z know that they have to come over to the opposite side of the field. They're going to go away from the call in this situation. So you got to pay attention to the whole call. The call is left, but the over tells the H and the Z that they need to come on over to the right. X, nothing changes for you, right? Always opposite of the call, no matter what. 100% of the time, X is always away from the call. So X here is left, he goes right. X here is right, he goes left. That's that simple. So the only formation that we have, or then we will have, where H and Z have to come to the opposite of the call is an over. And that's why we tag it as over, to let them know they got to come opposite side. Okay? So the play that we have here is drop Ohio. All right? So as we look at drop Ohio here, remember the O of Ohio speaks to the outside receiver. The I of Ohio tells the outside receiver that he's going to be running an in. Okay, so he's going to run a 12-yard in route. Number 2 here is our Z. Z is going to be on a vertical. Okay, and then our H here, he's number 3 now because it's over. He'll be in the flat. Okay. Again, this is a video game. I can't manipulate the routes they run. So what we'll see here is the Y actually runs a corner route, but what we'll have him is on a post. Okay? So here's what drop Ohio looks like. All right? We see the H is in the flat at about 2 to 3 yards. And guys, I hope you've noticed as you're watching these videos that flat route is always 2 to 3 yards. Okay, consistently. It's extremely important. If you notice when he's in that 2 to 3 yard area, how much space there is between these two defenders, or these two offensive players, which puts pressure on this flat defender. Is he going to play shallow, or is he going to play underneath this dig? Okay, we're reading that flat player. The flat player plays back, we throw underneath. If the flat player plays up, we throw over the top. Okay, so we read that flat player. And right here you'll see where we're throwing that dig route, bam, right before the hash. Don't bring that dig into the hash. If we throw that dig right there on that hash, that receiver's going to have himself a headache. He's going to get lit up by a linebacker or a safety. Okay, so we want to make sure we're completing that ball before the hash. Again, we see the vertical here. Very rarely are we actually going to throw the vertical on Ohio. The only time we'll throw that vertical on Ohio is if that safety comes down out of the box, or down into the box, wants to play aggressive at the line of scrimmage. But ultimately, we'll be throwing that dig, that 12-yard in, or we'll be throwing the underneath route here. So this is drop Ohio. Again, we see the running back coming out of the backfield. We don't do that. We don't send our back out of the backfield on these unless we tag him as such. And again, right where our tight end breaks out, we actually want him breaking in the middle of the field. Why? Because again, that holds those safeties. If we're running to the middle of the field, if we have 2 high safeties, the safeties should be holding in the middle, which makes sure that our dig route doesn't get lit up by a safety roaming the middle of the field there. So we want to run a post, not a corner, from our Y. So again, tray left, over. Drop Ohio. Outside guy runs a 12 and in. All right. Number 1 runs a 12 and in. Number 2 runs a vertical. And number 3 is in the flat. Shallow. Very short and in the flat. And that's drop Ohio.